Hi everyone, and welcome back. Today, we're gonna do something a little bit different, and we're gonna read and listen to some really creepy and scary stories. I've been looking for some creepy stories for the past, 2 days, and I found, I think, 5 stories. They're pretty short, but I got chills reading them, and they're very creepy. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to read these. I'm not sure if it would help at all with helping someone to go to bed, but I thought it would be a fun video. So if you don't want to hear any scary stories that will probably keep you up at night, then I would highly recommend clicking out to the video right now so that you could sleep tonight. But if you do want to hear the stories, then we'll just get started. The first story is called A Curious Warning. And all these stories I just found I think on Google Images or on Pinterest. So yeah. A curious warning. Last night, as I was sitting in my living room and watching a little TV before bed, I heard a strange noise. She was my little sister, practically still a baby. She didn't deserve to die, and not the way that she did, mangled, crushed flat, and churned up under a car's wheel. They wouldn't let us see the body. I haven't told my parents it was suicide yet. I should tell someone, at least, because no one believes the driver when he tells them that she honestly did jump into the road out of nowhere. An innocent man's life is being ruined because of my little sister's selfishness. I told her she was being selfish, and I told her she would regret it, but I honestly didn't think she would do it. I thought she was too young to mean something as serious as that. The guilt is incredible. You wouldn't believe it. I wasn't there for her, and I should have been. I should have helped her, and I didn't. I don't know if I can live with it. Maybe she had the right idea. I was right about one thing, though. We're regretting it. I could hear her crying in the coffin all the way through the service. These stories are extremely creepy to me. The next story doesn't have a title either. So, it goes, a man went to a hotel and walked up to the front desk to check in. The woman at the desk gave him his key and told him that on the way to his room there was a door with no number that was locked and no one was allowed in there. Especially, no one should look inside the room under any circumstances. So he followed the instructions of the woman at the front desk, going straight to his room and going to bed. The next night, his curiosity would not leave him alone about the room with no number on the door. He walked down the hall to the door and tried the handle. Sure enough, it was locked. He bent down and looked through the wide keyhole. Cold air passed through it, chilling his eye. What he saw was a hotel bedroom, like his, and in the corner was a woman whose skin was completely white. She was leaning her head against the wall, facing away from the door. He stared in confusion for a while. He almost knocked on the door out of curiosity, but decided not to. This disinclination saved his life. He crept away from the door and walked back to his room. The next day, he returned to the door and looked through the wide keyhole. This time, all he saw was redness. He couldn't make anything out besides a distinct red color, unmoving. Perhaps the inhabitants of the room knew he was spying the night before and blocked the keyhole with something red. At this point, he decided to consult the woman at the desk for more information. She sighed and said, "Did you look through the keyhole?" The man told her that he had, and she said, "Well, I might as well tell you the story. A long time ago, a man murdered his wife in that room, and her ghost haunts it. But these people were not ordinary. They were white all over, except for their eyes, which were red." That is the last story that I have anymore, and I would probably not be able to sleep tonight. I absolutely don't like anything creepy at all, but I just thought this would make a really fun